Yo, what's up, fam?
Mr. Mario Armstrong. What's up,
T-Swin,
man?
we've been
What's
trying
up?
to get this set up for a minute, right?
Yes, sir. It's been some time.
I
It has, man. We
appreciate it.
appreciate you stopping by and coming on with us.
Man, this is a big deal.
So,
I appreciate you all taking out the time in your show. You could have had any guest on the show, but you decided to roll with me, so I appreciate it. And thank you for having me.
yeah, thank you. We all about spreading good energy and positive information and energy, man. So, Mr. Armstrong, man. So, give some background on yourself.
Man, I mean, the quick background would be, I'm a husband, married to my wife for over 10 years, over 15 years, actually. And we got a son named Christopher. And my wife and I are actually in business together. We went broke pursuing our dream and really fought through that, just like everybody else. Everybody's gone through some kind of dip or some kind of what feels more permanent than temporary at times. But everybody's gone through something that has really kind of pushed you to your limit. And that was us. Other people have had worse situations that we've had. But that was our bottom. That was our low when we were out of money, when we were bankrupt and my mother-in-law was paying for our groceries. My godmother was paying for my train tickets. I'm a Baltimore boy, born and raised in Bmore. And we had a lot of opportunity that I was kind of cooking up at the time in New York and trying to get onto these TV networks and all these media places, because I was like this person that could talk about tech in a way that was really accessible to a lot of people. So I was able to break down technology in a way that was really understandable. And at that time, there wasn't really anybody else. There was only like myself, maybe Omar Wasso, a couple other people. Very few people that was doing this. So it opened up a lane, but I didn't have any money to really execute the lane. So what's worse is when you know you got something of value, of something of a talent or a gift to share, but you're having trouble executing it because you don't have the resources or you don't have the access. And I just think that my story is kind of testament to not giving up, being resilient, and being creative. Damon John, who is now like a friend and also a business partner, he says in his book, it's the power of being broke. When you're broke, you got no other choice but to get creative. Like a lot of people don't know, that same FUBU t-shirt that was showing up in music videos in the 90s was like one of 3 t-shirts that he had. He didn't have a line of them. He was just washing that same old sweaty ass t-shirt and putting it on another rapper and throwing it on a video shoot. People don't know that. So it's like they think that, everybody was wearing something fresh. Nah, he was recycling stuff. Like, I got to get that back after the shoot so I can take it to the next one, try to get some more free marketing. So everybody's been through something. And I'm just happy that, we kind of persevered through and we started building. For those that don't know, I create content for entrepreneurs and creators. And we teach you all how to everything from how to build your business, to build your personal brand, get into the media, and how to get access to money from corporate sponsors. And that's when we unlocked that, things started changing for us. When we started understanding how to get funding from that non-traditional source, instead of just going into our credit cards or trying to get a loan or family and friends, that's when we really started getting some steam behind us. Because I was like, oh, wait, I can create an idea and I can sell the idea and I can convince a brand to sponsor it. So I can actually get some of this money up front for the idea. And that kind of changed everything once I got kind of in on that particular angle. And so now today, we got a couple of Emmys that we've won for some of the shows that we've created. And this is just kind of a testament to, like, it's really not about the Emmy more than it's about like persevering your dream and just kind of sticking through and staying, straight resilient. Because when you get knocked down, it's hard to get back up, but you got to know who you're fighting for. And I think we knew who we were fighting for, and that's why we were able to rise back up.
So where did I would like to know, because I have a lot of quotes in my life, and you use the quote, never settle. So I want to know what brought you to the quote, never settle. Like, what happened in your life to say, hey, I'm never going to settle? Because, a lot of people settle. A lot of people get stuck in their ways. A lot of people stuck in situations and say, man, I'm going to just settle and try to bump this. So what happened in your life that made you go with that quote, that made that a powerful quote for you in your life?
Yeah, bro, that's really a great insight because, I mean, look, it's easier to not have ambition. Like, it's just easier. It's easier to not have ambition. The problem is many of us know something about us that we're great at. We know we got some kind of gift. We know we have some talent, whether we want to believe it or not. Somebody else has told us. Some of us actually know what that is. And so when you actually are being true to yourself and you know that, then it becomes difficult. I think the hardest thing for a human being is to actually know what they're good at but not be able to see how to execute it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
Like that's gotta
Facts.
hurt.
Yeah.
Like you know you
Yeah.
can sing, but you
Yeah.
have no idea how to get your
Yes.
music out there or how to build it. You know what I mean? You got people
Yeah.
now like Toby and Wigway, you got LaRussell, you got other people kind of showing the way of like how you can do this now, but you didn't really have that several years ago. Really, you just didn't.
Right.
You had to get signed if you really
Mm.
wanted to pop. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
think for me, what happened was one time I was on Twitter, man, and I said, I wish I could find. I need to go and try to find this tweet. I think we actually saved it as an image, but I got to go and look in our Google Drive to see if it's there. But I remember typing up this motivational tweet, and it was just like we were right in the grind of people telling us no to the show idea that we were launching. We were trying to launch a talk show that was going to have a live studio audience, but it was going to be all about entrepreneurship and telling stories about really people of color, but also other people, but mostly people of color and their stories as it relates to being an entrepreneur.
Right.
But we want to do it with a live audience, live interaction, people watching live online, as well as being live in studio. And so it was a big production for us at that time. And I remember like getting told no by some of these networks that I had already built a relationship with. And I remember tweeting, and I was just like, if you believe in what you believe in, you got to put the work in. It was something like that. It was some kind of rhyme that I did. And then I was like, hashtag never settle. And then nobody paid attention to anything I said in the tweet. Everybody came back with like, yeah, never settle. Yeah, never settle. And so we saw like this like response to those two words. And we were like, yo, what is that? Like we just tapped something. And so at that point, I think we just adopted it. And that's when we started the Never Settle Club. And that's when we started really just focusing in on what does it mean to not give up? Hashtag never settle.
No, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope.
But that really all comes from watching my dad, you know, as a Baltimore kid, being raised, for those in Baltimore that know, like being raised over by Mondawmin Mall and Druid Hill. And these are places where Drew Hill came from and stuff like that. Like not too far from where Freddie Gray riots happened, which is called an area called Penn North. Like I live like around, grew up around the corner from that. But then like my dad was always on that, like, I got to get us to bigger and better, right? I got to get us to bigger and better. And I just remember watching my dad go broke, pursuing his dream of like trying to create a Motown in Baltimore at the time. And he had a couple of music groups under him, and they did get to travel. Cause I remember a Christmas or two when he wasn't there, cause he was in Tokyo, he was in Japan with the group. But it didn't work out. Like he just didn't get those hits that really could send it off into a whole other thing. And watching him be able to kind of bounce back from pursuing that dream, having to claim bankruptcy. I remember riding around with him in a car, and he would go looking for home. Like we barely making ends meet, and he's looking for new homes, like in new neighborhoods that I don't even know about. Like he was just on that kind of level. And I think that impressioned me as a young Black male. I think it just made me see like, yo, you can really do what you think you can do. You just got to really have a vision for it, and you got to take some steps towards it.
Man, I think your dad gave you something that you just said happened in your future, because just like you said with the Fubu, with the dude with the Fubu shirts, he had to fake it till he make it, right? And I think your dad, and I do the same thing with my sons, I show them stuff that I really can't afford or really good, but I try to show them, say, hey, you can do this, even though I can't. In my head, I'm like, man, I really can't. Like sometimes I got a family of 7 or 8. I know if I go out to eat, it's $200, $300 plus.
Right.
I do it, but in my head, I'm like, man, they don't know I'm straining. Like I'm trying to show them, you know what I'm saying? You can do it. It's a better life without showing them I'm straining for it. So I think that was a
man, LDC1, that's powerful, bro. I talk about this often, that we got exposure.
Right.
Like, yo, everything that we've become is because of exposure. So the more we can expose, and I mean everything. So sometimes we just got to taste something that we can't necessarily afford. We need to taste it. I remember the first time I was like, yo, I'm gonna bump up this damn coach ticket to first class. I need to understand what's going on up there. And this the I was straining to do it, right? I was straining to do it. And then when I did it, I was like, wait a minute, I get on the plane first. You know what I'm saying? I get to start working or doing whatever the hell I want to do while everybody else is still loading on the plane for a good half hour, 45 minutes. Then I get drinks if that's what I want. They take my jacket, all that good stuff. I get off the plane first, so I don't have to worry about missing a gate. So wait, everybody up here don't look as stressed. There are people in the back trying to grab their luggage. Can I get in front of you? Because my flight, I got to catch the, I was like, yo,
they be the happiest people in the world.
So I was like, I need to fly like this forever, but I needed to taste it. And after I tasted it, I was like, how do I recreate that? The part is I couldn't do it right away, right? Like I couldn't continually do that, but I tasted it. And once I tasted it, I understood that was a new goal. And now it's like, yo, I'm not, unless I have to fly coach for some reason, because there's no connecting flight or something, I'm trying to fly straight direct and only first class. Next one is private jets, but we ain't there yet, but that's next.